Alright, welcome back to the next part. So where did I leave off? I think I rambled the last time and I think I overtalked myself probably too much and yeah. Anyway, I've moved on a little bit with the engine. So, I know I talked a lot about it, but I actually completed it. So, I got all the fuel lines gone. I actually had it running, so I had it turned over and had it running. I sorted my choke cable issue. That was actually very easy. So these all work absolutely perfect. Hang on, let me show you the pull the choke cable and show you work. I don't know if you can see them there at the back here. So all three move at the same time. So simple as system. And if you want to know what to do, this is the late model, but take one of the early ones, or in other words, one of the late 72 cables. It's a soft cable. And basically chop one side of it, the shorter side, and leave it in here. It stays in there and you never see it. The other side, what you do is you'll take it out and put the casing, and then feed it through. So I basically have the clamp here, and that clamps it down. But then I feed it through one. I took the screw out of the next feeder, because these are individual carburetors. Took the screw out, so all it does is just go through there. Through, and then I clamp it here. So by is, I clamp it here first, I put the pull in it, and it's clamped here. So it's like, here's the clamp, here's the operating, and then once that works, I just tighten these up. So it just pulls all three at the same time. Being brand new, it's a lot easier because it's pretty loose, so yeah, it worked out well. Got the fuel done. The throttle gave me some awful trouble, because as you can see, the linkages end up being awful close. I said these are not official Webers, so like the official Webers might have a little bit more spacing. But trying to get this throttle and trying to get the like this for the actual unit. This is off the actual throttle down here. Trying to get that to work out. It is very stiff because there's no spring on it anymore. There's no play on it. But it'd be nice if it was a different pedal here. So this pulls and it's up a little high, but it only goes so far anyway. But it'd be nice if I had one that pulled the other way. I had inverted it and put it downwards, but then I realized when I pull it, it pushes it. So the only way it would push is that it would have to be on the opposite side of this, which is fine, but there's no room. When I tried it, it was banging off in here, so that wasn't going to work. So the only option was to pull the lever down in order to push these down. That's just the way it worked out. And it says, but that's, every car is a little different. Like even full kits depend, like, I don't know. It should be straightforward, but I had to play around with this for a bit. Yeah, so I put the feeder hose in. I took the unit off the old intake and I put it in here, running back to the booster. So we'll see how that works. I had it only running for about, to be honest, 30 seconds. Started, oh my god, it sounded amazing. But then I set the CO detector off because I'm still inside. So now, again, I turned it off and got it running. The fuel pump worked absolutely fine. And I did find out it's pretty much 3.5 or 3.5. No more than 4, but 3.5 optimal. So I may drop it to 3. So yeah, I know I said 8, but because I swear I read that some carbs, some DCOEs run 8 PSI. Maybe it was a big one. Maybe it was the 48 or some of that, or maybe something I read anyway. Anyway, I'll look through it again. It says most of these run at 3.5. However, always revert to the instructor's manual if you're not sure. So having that, I have to get the new adapter for it, because I have the kit for this to do it, but because the gap is so small, I have to get the adapter that actually comes up to allow me to balance them. Because I have to go through now and find out, it's basically two sides. Everything is rematched, so there's a throttle either side. There's one mixture screw, which I think is this one. Again, I have to go through it. There's just the throttle. This is the mixture screw, I think. But I said that's something I'll play with when I'm actually tuning it up. I'll look it up and I'll see which screw is which, because aftermarkets mightn't have the same ones in the same spot. Yeah, other than that, like I said, I fixed this, so I don't want to repeat myself again. Anyway, time to get back to the soft top. So I'm going to go back and put the webbing on the soft top. So we're having a bit of a garage sale today, so people might come in and out. Alright, so the webbing. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to bolt this down. So I'm going to go bolt this down, go get some nuts and bolts and put it down. I usually put 2 in it. And I'm going to run the webbing across, and we're going to start clamping. I have to go get all the rivets and the tools and everything. I don't want to waste your time on that. So let me go do that. So I'll be back in 1 minute, and we'll get started on putting the webbing on the soft top. Alright, and we're back. Okay, so let's get cracking with this. So we have our soft top bolted down the back. We're going to bring the webbing over. Now, the webbing goes on a particular way. It goes on really one way, but you can put it on a different way. So here's our clamps that we use to put it on. You could cheat and simply clamp it down like that. If you wanted to clamp it down like that, that's your choice if you want to do it. Nothing's stopping you doing it. It's not the correct way, but there's nothing stopping you doing it. Where it actually goes is, it goes below. So it wraps around under it and goes down, and the rivets go in between. So this cloth is hanging up in the air. This is if you haven't done yours already. So like if you look at the far one, you'll see what I mean. So, sorry, the handle's a bit in the way there, but it's right underneath it. You can see there holding it on. Alright, so how do we get to that point? Well, there's a few different ways you could do it. But I'm going to show you my way of doing it. And again, it's just my way. You don't have to do it this way. Like, you can simply fold it underneath. You could say, okay, well, I'll have a rough idea. Put some holes into it, guess it, and see, hey, do you know what, it's too loose. I'll put it on it. My thing is that when I hold it like this and I put it on, I find I'm bending it. And then when I put it on and I tighten it, it gets awful loose again. So my trick is to fold it. I actually fold it on top of itself. Simple as that. And then I place this on it. Sorry, not on it, in it. Right? So I've done this the way it normally goes, but instead of the long end coming over and under, it's under and over. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see where it's tightest. So I'll make sure to pull it, and I'll see, okay, well, at what point does it come around, or where can I hold it that will actually be nice and tight. And then what I'll do is, once I have that, I'll put the pinholes in it and I'll mark it. So I actually done this already. So I actually have 2 holes in it. So obviously I lined it up, I folded it, and I basically figured out where is the best place to do it. Okay? And then I just put the holes in it, and then when I put the holes in it, then I'm going to do it the opposite way. I'm going to fold it back under and put the rivets in it this way. So you see, I already done the holes already. I already measured it, just so you don't have to see me go through it, because you can play with it for a few minutes and figure out where it goes. There is a bit of stretch to it. Alright, so let's go put these in. I know it comes with rivets. Through the metal and through our hole. 1. So I said, if you want to do any other way, it's up to you. I've done it all different ways, and I've tried it, and I said you can stencil it as well. You can mark it. So instead of just piercing a hole now, if you get a bit of white out and just put a dot, at least you know where to put the holes. The good thing about this is, though, if you do get it wrong and it's a bit loose, well, you know what? Just take it out and redo another hole a little tiny bit back. That's all. It's not the worst thing to do if you get it wrong. So now I'm going to flip it around. Sorry, I've just the wrong way now, boy. I do. I have it upside down. I don't know why I've done that. Oops, I lost the rivet. It's gotten sucked into the seat somewhere. Hang on. Oh, I got it. It's one of those things, you ever lose something on the seat, the more you try to get it, the further it goes down. It's like money blown in the wind, or paper. Every time you go to grab it, it just blows away further. Tell me I've done this twice. Oh my god. Twice I got it wrong. I was probably right the first time I turned it the wrong way. Alright. Let's do this. So now I measured it, I can undo this. What I'll do is I'll put one in. Just enough to hold it. The rivet fell out again. Ooh. So just to hold it. I'll put the other one back in. I've lost the hole. Oh no. Oh no, I've lost. I'm gonna do it the old way. So since it popped out me, I just have to try this one down first. Maybe there's a grip obviously. Alright. I didn't want to do it this way. So, because now when I move it, I have to redo the hole again. Whoop, you dropped it. Some reason it doesn't want to go through. These parts can be very frustrating. Ooh. Ooh. Hate these snappings. Alright. So that's in and again. So now I have a nice smooth line all the way down. Alright. So it's gonna go in here. I'll tie it up. It says it has to be absolutely perfect. The main part of it is that, like I said, this one I feel like is a little off. I probably should rivet it a bit more because there's a bit of a gap here. Like, it's only because I twisted it. So, hang on. Oh my god. Camera's falling. So, just because I've done that, I'm not happy with this part. I feel like I should like push this to the side, do it and pull a little bit more on this one. I don't know. It's pretty decent where it is, don't get me wrong. Just because I stretched it. But to be honest, it's good enough. I'll live with it. Alright. But you can change it. At any point you can change it. But once you put the soft top on, you can't get to it again. So if you're going to do it now if you get it wrong. But again, the same thing. That's one way. Another way of doing it is that you can put one in. Just put a hole in it, put one in, and then move it up, and then push the other one in. So I just use a little pointer tool to ping a hole. And that's it. Yeah, I just don't want to drill this back out and do it. It'd be fine. Okay, so now the next part of it is, once you get that hopefully right, to find out where these sit, because this piece moves, what I'll do is I'm going to bring a soft top up. Now again, depending on your soft tops, some of them are vinyl, some of them are PVC, they differ. This one is mohair. Alright, so I'm going to cheat a bit. There is a stencil on this to tell me where it's meant to go across. I'm going to cheat a bit and use the Velcro to the side to sort of hold it. Because the PVC ones I normally don't because it's a bit more of a stretch. But for the mohair I sort of have to because you don't get as much of a stretch on it. Okay, you can see it still slides back a bit. Anyway, that gives me a rough idea where it's going to go. So, the bar's going across, like I said, here's the stay bar. Here it is here, and there's the seam. So I'm going to move it back to it's almost at it. I'll say almost, let me show you. Hopefully you can see. The seam itself is just here. So I'll just show you because I know when I put it on the stretcher it's going to pull more, and I know it. Hang on, hopefully you can see there. So that's the seam just off it. I said I have it like that, so when I actually fix up to the top, it's going to pull a bit more and it'll fit right on it. So for now, I know where the soft top is going. I know where this is going to stay, the stay bar, because I'm going to rivet that on first before I put the soft top on. As you can see, it's loose, so it needs to be stretched a bit more. When you stretch a bit, this is going to pull up and sit right on top here. This one doesn't always line up. This is the one I find the odd one. Doesn't always line up, but that I'm not worried about. The rear one again, so what I'm going to do is see where the rear one sits and do the exact same thing. So the rear one should be sitting just above the window. So in an ideal world, hang on, I have to get in. It's dark in here now. In an ideal world, the trim here, you can see it there. So basically follow that all the way down, so it'll be right down. But the more I pull it, the more it stretches. But it's going to stretch a bit more, so again, I'm going to leave it just a fraction. I mean the slightest fraction. This one's a little less because there's less movement on here than there is up the front. This part's going to move more. So just off. So when I give it more of a tug, it's going to come up a slightest little bit. So I just have to make sure both sides are even, because this will wrap around, and when it sits down here, you can put the seams on it, But oh god, see it's falling out. You can put, see, one side is moved different to the other, so it's a little off. You can put the snaps on it and snap around. What I find I do is sometimes I'll wrap it around and I'll just glue it on. You don't have to. Same as up here. The snaps that go in the bar, and you just, well, these ones actually collect together. This one snaps into the bar, so you put the snaps on this. But I've glued it because, to be honest, that part doesn't move anyway. That sort of stays. Every time I've done them, I've never had an issue with gluing that on compared to using the snaps. But again, if you want to follow and do it correctly, put the snaps in. I don't know, I'll see what way it is when I get done. I may need glue, because if I need to move it a tiny bit, I'd rather glue it on the snaps on. But again, it doesn't have to be glued on. It's supposed to be snapped on. Alright, so now I know roughly where it's going to sit. I'm going to fix these bars. Alright, so there's the seam, there's the bar, so there'll be a little tiny more stretch in it. So I am okay putting this here. Right, so I'll get the pointer I had. Normally I put the stuff on the chair inside of it, but because of the pointer and it may dig into the hole and leave a hole, I'm not going to do it. No, I've dropped it. Alright. I still see the hole. For the next one, and again, making sure you keep the stress on it. Once you get this one, it actually gets easier after this, believe it or not. Once you get the first one in, because the bar shouldn't move. But we just did now, but again, once it's set, it's not going to make a difference, because it's going to stay in the same position. For some reason, that doesn't want to go in. I should have made sure to say that you clear the holes when you're doing this. Make sure that the holes in the frame are clear, that they can go in. Sometimes there'll be rivets still left in there. I think that's what the case is here. Yeah. There we go. That's why I wouldn't go in. There's still the remains of a rivet in there. Alright, that's one. Now, the question is, people you might want to know is, do I go straight to the other side for here? No, I usually just do one side first, then I go do the opposite side. Alright, so before I do the last one, because the last bar is movable, I'm going to put it back up again. Because it wobbles so much, I want to make sure it's in the right place. It's one of those things, once you do it, it's hard to get the top up. It's hard to fix it after. This one is just shy, which is fine. And you can see, it's way off. So, that's the way I know. That's the seam. It's pretty much on it. But I want to go and make sure it's on the far side. The wall's a tiny bit off, so. Okay. That's it. So I'll pull them out. That's fine. So this has come back here. Right in the seam. Okay. Good. Alright, so I'm pretty happy with that. Because I get the final pull on it, it will move just the slightest fraction. Alright, now I've got it off, I can take this off gingerly, making sure not to move it. And before I do anything, I'm going to pin the hole in it. Because once I get a hole in it, I know even if it moves, I know exactly where it should line up. So now we have one side done. Oh, get the camera out. So time wise, you can see it's not the worst for time. So that's pretty good all the way. I said if you wanted to get a bit more, if you're not happy with it, like I said, they're only rivets. You can always re-rivet it out and pull it. But yeah, I'm pretty happy that will hold it in position. Since you don't expect them to be band tight. It's pretty tight here. But yeah, that's it. So now we have that done. I'm going to continue on and do the far side, and then we'll start throwing the cover on. So roll on a bit more high speed. Alright, welcome back. So I'm going to put this on, so hopefully you can see. I'm going to move the camera, hopefully you can see okay. The next part is put the rail on. So I always start from the middle and work my way out. So if you put your finger in the back, I know the little hole is somewhere here. It's somewhere. It's always a little hard to find. And what we do is we have to puncture it. So here's the part that I hate because I always stab myself in the finger every time. So, one hole, and what I usually do is I get a slightly bigger screwdriver and make the hole a little bigger. Because the rivet's going to be tough to get through, especially this. So, the rail. You've already, you see the hole already. So nothing in the hole. I'm going to get my little spacer. Over the rivet. And that will allow me to actually get it on. Be mindful, there's a good chance that you will lose it. Especially when you do the side ones, it will snap and it will just shoot off somewhere. So I'm going to cut a few of them. Alright, that's one on, and we're just going to continue on to the rest. So, all that and do it. Obviously helpful if you have somebody holding it for you as well. Alright, so if like this, what happens is sometimes with the spacer the rivet gun won't grab it. Or if you put it on, you get one or two. Ah, see, I know why it's not gripping. I don't think it went all the way through. I'm not sure what's over the end now. So watch out for that happening as well. That happens a lot. Is you put the rivet in and you start squeezing it and the rivet pops out the back of the metal and it's just in between the track and this and it doesn't go anywhere. You're wondering why it was so easy snapped is because it hasn't gone all the way through. So do watch out for that. And then it happened there. I mean, it does happen a lot, I'm not going to lie. And again, piercing through, don't try to do it too much, otherwise you may end up ripping your brand new soft top if it's brand new. And no, I actually haven't done that. Not yet. Not saying mistakes will happen. Anything can happen. It doesn't make a difference how long you're doing stuff. Not everything always goes right. So, as I said, I've been fortunate when I put these on. I think this one, yeah, this one hasn't gone through. Right, so two things happened. One, it didn't go through. And two, oh, I thought I lost in space, so I still have it. So now, it didn't go through. Sometimes when you drill a hole, it might be a bit too big. So I'm going to leave that for now, and I'm going to do the rest and come back to it, because I don't want to go to the car yet. This one it's been riveted a few times, but yeah, I think the hole in the back has gotten too big and I drilled through. So what I'll do is, if it's gotten too big, you can actually get washers, believe it or not, for the rivets. So I might get a little longer one and put a washer on it. Or like I said, I'll get this on, I'll fold it down and I'm going to come back to it. So. I was going to stop the video and just do high speed, but I'm already up here, so. If you look at the time on this, it actually didn't take long. I put a soft top on, should only take about an hour. It should only take an hour, provided, well, if you don't have to do the webbing or fit the rail, or if it already has it pre-marked, you're not playing around with it, it really should only take an hour. So, I'm going to get the drill for this one and I'll do the rest. So I'm going to drop this, get out, grab the drill, fix it, and roll on some high speed while I put the rest on. So, see you in a minute. Alright, welcome back to the last part of this. So, what we're going to do is we're going to put on the female snaps onto the top for the soft top. Now obviously you can see it's stretched a bit. I need to get a nice stretch on it to keep the window as flush as I can. The more I pull this down, it makes it easier to pull this down and vice versa. So getting a nice pull on this one at an angle, and then I'll mark it where it needs to go. So I'll pick a point and I'll say, right, it's going in here, and then that's where it'll go. Now, these never come marked. They never will, because every frame is different. Your rivets could be in different spots. You can put 4 or 5 snaps. You don't have to have the 3. You can put more on it if you want. It's a total choice. So, and it's simple. Just drill a little hole and put the male snap in. Now again, the same as the top. This will not go in there. It will not fit in. And if you just try to use a normal rivet, it's going to end up awful loose and terrible. Yes, you can get screw-in ones that go, excuse me, you can get screw-in ones that go in here. Again, don't waste your time. They don't work. You screw in, and for the first couple of times you'll probably do, it'll be fine, but then the pull on it makes it twist and it just bores the hole bigger. They have to be riveted in. So just go make sure you put a little spacer on your rivets to fit on. So this part here is the male end. So what you'll need is obviously something to puncture the hole in the first place, something to make the hole a little bigger, and you will need your rivet gun. The rivet gun is actually a snap gun. It's actually this here. So I know you can get these on Amazon. I think there are something like somewhere between 50 and 100, depending on who you get it off. But they're well worth it. This is absolutely brilliant. It's basically a vice grips with the thing welded on. There's the one where you put it in and hammer it and all that. Don't bother with that. Again, it's a waste of time. It never goes right. It's a cheap thing you can buy. And don't get me wrong, I know, for example, I know Moss Motors sells that tap-on. Like I said, just you're only wasting your time buying that thing. If it comes to the kit, it is what it is if you get it, but don't use it. Just spend the extra money and do this. Or if you want, come to us here, plan of 6 parts. So, let's put the last snaps on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at pulling it at the glass tray. I pull it this way so I don't end up with a fold in the glass. So if I was to do it here, that'd be a good place to position it. So in order to have the snap in the middle, the snap is going to be pretty much here. So I'm just marking where it's going to go. Puncture a hole, I'm going to make the hole bigger. The reason why is because if you ever put these on, these female snaps are a 2-part. So you have one end and 2 ends. The first end passes through. And it should go all the way through. If it doesn't go all the way through, make the hole big enough that it does go through. Sometimes you'll realize you have to go backwards as well. And you have to push it this way just to get the fabric to go back in order to fit it through. So you never have the blade or cut it. You should be able to just push it right through, and I don't know if you can see, but there it's starting to protrude. This goes over, and then it goes into the snap gun. So the little has a ball bearing on one side and a smooth end on the other end. I think it's self-explanatory that the ball bearing goes in And the smooth end goes this side. So the next thing you'll ask is, oh well, how tight is it meant to be? If you've ever used one of these, you'll realize in order for it to be tight, you have to really squeeze it till it clicks, and that's when you know it's tight enough. So if you've ever done that, just be mindful as well that you don't stretch your paint as well. And then when it's nice and tight, you get a nice finish to it. And this snap number 1 on. Now we can move to snap number 2. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to pull it a bit, that it's going to leave a nice curvature on the window. And what I'm doing is, the reason why I'm lifting it a tiny bit is I want to make sure that it's to the center. I don't want to put it up here. Now every time like I said, every time you put these on, they're always going to be different. Sometimes they're right down the bottom, sometimes you can grip a little higher. It depends on how your frame fits, how the soft top fits, how much stretch you have on it, and how much stretch you want to put on it. The original one's a little easier to do. The fabric. And then this is the last one. So the last one's going to come down. Now, the only thing about this is there's extra layers on it. So you may find yourself that you have to cut a little bit of fabric on it. So, depending where it's going to end up, so I'm going to give it a good pull. So I'm looking at pulling it pretty much in the middle here. I can't pull this as much, but I can when the snap is on it. I'm going to look at it and say, okay, there's enough fabric here. Some of them you'll realize there's extra fabric here. You might just have to blade a little bit off it to allow it to pass through. So I always find I have to do that with the originals. So again, if you realize I'm not pulling it down, it's because there's so much material here, it's hard. So, but I wanted to line up, that lines up with these and ends up in the same spot, height wise. So see, there's a fair bit of room here, so that's going to work out pretty good. I hate getting these through. Yep. You might have to loosen it a bit for this one if you have a bit more material as well. Not exactly pinch perfect, but there we go. Not exactly pinch perfect, but it's pretty good. But you're not too worried about looking at it. Can you get the perfect curvature around? I don't know. If I move it a little bit more, maybe give it a bit of a tug. But I find if I did, it'll probably crink somewhere else. Anyway, That's it. It's all nice and smooth at the side. I said it's flushed up that it fits in the door. And then when you put your glass up, it's not going to fit anyway, because they don't fit. They're terrible. You know, they're supposed to come right up and be pushed against it. I don't know, how can it be in one side and on the out and the other? But, alright, so that's it. Alright, bit of high speed to do the last 3. And then we're going to move on. And the only thing I have to do is put the rubber on the front rail. And that's the soft top. And I can store that down, I can put the seat in. And then we can work on putting the actual boot cover. So, boot cover, same colour. And all I'm going to do is the exact same as what I've done with this. And I'm going to just lie it down and do the same thing. Start from the middle and work my way around that they're on it. Again, if you get one, they may come with it already pre-hold, but I don't think it will, because it mightn't always be in the same position, especially if you put more snaps on. They usually, you're always in a different spot. Anyway, that's that part of it. So yeah, roll on some high speed. So see you back in a minute. Alright, welcome back. So, progression continues. So, the car is almost done. I'm ready to almost bring it out. I was hoping to have it literally ready to go outside today. Had to put the windscreen in, but let's go have a look at this interior and see what you think. So, here she is. So, door cards are on. I said it's gone from, it's at 74, but we didn't put the door pulls on it because of this. And again, that's shine is the button. But with the 2 seats in it now, what do you think? The boot cover is done. It's interesting. It's definitely an interesting colour. The steering wheel back on. It may not be for everybody. Don't get me wrong. I love the colour. I think it's a beautiful colour. Is it the colour I'd choose? Maybe not. But the owner absolutely loves it, and that's the most important thing. But yeah, like it's almost like 2 separate cars. You get into it and you have, like, look at that, you have to look at when you're driving. Beautiful. And yeah, you stand back and that's it. Yeah, it's getting there. So next to go on it now is, I was hoping to have the windscreen frame, the glass to put in. So I'll put the glass in. I can put the all the other bits and pieces like the sun visors and all that jazz on. The mirrors we're still sourcing because we're in debate which mirrors to put on it, because we want to put something a little different but classic as well. So once I get that on, I can get the D's on. I said to test the electronics and that. But once I get them all on, I can push the car out and at least I can start it, and then I can start tuning the engine. There's not much to do regarding here, believe it or not, other than tuning the carburetors. All I really do is bleed the brakes, the clutch. That's really it. Other than putting the bonnet and all back on, there's not much left to do in it. So I'm hoping in a couple of days she'll be on its way to go get its final cut and polish, have the decals put on it. Yeah, just it's getting there. Now I took the cloth off, I can see a little better. But yeah, that's it. And the vacuum is on. So yes, we just changed the bag, so the vacuum is turned on. So on that note, yeah, join me in the next part when hopefully at that we'll have it outside and we'll have the glass on and everything and we'll actually hear it running. So again, appreciate